Cindy and I are taking a little road trip. We've taken a long weekend down here, and I do want to announce to everybody that Cindy's birthday was just last week. It was February 2nd, so she's enjoying her birth month. So happy birth month to you. All right, I love that. Does anybody else have a birth month? It's a term I love. People celebrate their birthday all month long. This is not my birth month. But anyway, here we are. And thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for tuning in and for all of your shares of this. Feel welcome to share this. We want to have this reach as many people as we possibly can. And this is so much fun for me. So I'm enjoying this. I've been doing this here for a couple of weeks now. And what we're doing is we're going through the workbook for students of A Course in Miracles. And this is something that I've done a couple of times. You may have done this yourself. These are little exercises. If you're just joining us, I invite you to start back from the beginning here and not skip ahead. Otherwise, that kind of defeats the purpose. Was anybody like that in school where you would skip ahead? Or does anybody read the very last page of a novel without reading the rest just to see what happens, right? All right, you don't have to identify yourself on here if that's the case. But we recommend that you go through from lesson 1. And if you're just joining us, what A Course in Miracles workbook for students is a series of daily practices, and they're very short practice periods. What happens is each day there's an idea for the day. And what we do is we take a look at that idea and practice that. You apply that to your life and what you're thinking about, how you're feeling, those types of circumstances. So it's very practical. This is designed to be a course in practical experience. You can see Cindy in the mirror. Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes, Cindy says thank you. Yeah, and she thanks you for all of your birthday wishes here in the comment thread. Belated is cool because it's her birth month. All right. We have to have some fun on here, right? Okay, so let's get into today's lesson. This is really, really great stuff. We're on lesson 8 today, and lesson 8 follows from lesson 7 logically. Yesterday on this live stream, we looked at the fact that we're looking only at the past. We're never upset for the reasons that we think. We're never angry. We're never frustrated for the reasons that we think. Why? Because we're actually seeing only the past. And today, the lesson 8, the idea is my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. All right, it's preoccupied with past thoughts as if we're only seeing the past. Right? If this is an idea that you accept or you're willing to entertain for the purposes of this live stream, for the purposes of a discussion or a practice period that's 1 minute or less, in other words, however briefly, if we're willing to entertain the fact that we're looking only at the past, therefore our mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. That flows quite logically. So how is that the case? Well, we're looking only at the past. In yesterday's exercise in the workbook, the practice periods had us just think about our lives and look around at what we see. And I see only the past in this jacket. These are the exercises. You just pan around and look at everything that you see indiscriminately. And here we're examining our thoughts. So what's really going on for all of us, all of the time, is that we are, in fact, only seeing the past. Now, this is not intended to be anything other than a statement of fact. This is what's going on. This is our condition as human beings here in the world, in what we call relative truth, is we're all seeing the past, and we each have our own take on that. That's why we call it relative, because each of us is having our own experience of the past. Someone might see a tree outside and think it's beautiful, wonderful, lovely. Other people may see it as ugly, dying, right? Desiccated, too many leaves, not enough leaves, ugly bark. Concerns of everything. And that's where conflict arises, all of it, from maybe a petty, small conflict you may have with yourself, all the way up to war, genocide, all of that. It's because we seem to be having different takes on things, different ideas, different experiences. And what happens when we identify with a separate sense of self, in other words, the ego, is we defend our experience. We think that ours is the only experience, the correct one. We place judgments on everything, on all of our experience, on other people, literally everything. And we're seeing the past. We're seeing the past because the world that we see, look around you, whatever you're seeing is nothing more than your own thoughts projected outward. And this talks about this here in the commentary for today's lesson. But they're our own thoughts projected outward. So what does this actually mean? Well, it means you're more powerful than you think. Let's jump right ahead to the beauty and the power of this. We're literally creating worlds. Everything we see are our own thoughts projected outward. So if you are seeing and experiencing frustration and pain, you have the power to flip that around. You can experience joy, peace, happiness, love. Who you are, that we can choose right now in the present moment to experience this. Now what happens is that the present moment is literally all there is. The past is gone. We know this. We know this instinctively. And the funny part is we run around in the world pretending it's still here. We formulate ideas about ourselves, like I'm a procrastinator, for example. I am anxious, right? I am chill. Whatever it is, we formulate ideas about ourselves, about the world, about other people, based on experiences that took place yesterday, or 3 weeks ago, or 30 years ago, maybe several lifetimes ago. We formulate these ideas and cling to them. And sure enough, that's what appears in our experience. So this is literally what's going on, is we're seeing only the past. Our mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. Think about how many times in your daily life you may express regret or remorse, or you look back and you use these two words that are really deadly. I mean, they're really deadly. Should have, right? Oh, I should have done this. Yes, in that situation yesterday, I should have done that. No, I could have done that. Right? We're thinking about the past. How useful is that? Well, it's not. It's not, because the past is gone. We have only the present moment to choose to live our lives differently. We have only the present moment to voluntarily, consciously elect to choose love. And you know what? I'm happy that Cindy continues to make an appearance here today. Everybody, again, please wish her a happy belated birthday. She'd really appreciate that. Excellent. So let's take a look at what the practice period for today, for lesson 8, would look like. And we'll talk about this a lot more. And I really want to emphasize, take heart with this, the fact that we're creating worlds. You're So powerful, you're literally in your own experience. This means you have the power to change that. Each of us has the power to change that. We have the power of God with us. Why? It's who we are, literally. So it's up to us to make that choice moment to moment to experience that. Now let's take heart. I want to pull you out of the workbook for a moment, all the way back to the introduction at the beginning of the text, where the course can be summed up very, very briefly. And it's the introduction right prior to the start of the text here. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. All right, nothing real can be threatened. In other words, who we really are. Nothing unreal exists. No, nothing unreal exists. The past, all of the preconceived notions that you may hold about yourself, they don't exist. This means you can write a new story right now, today, in the present moment, because that's literally all that we have. Future hasn't come, past is gone. Now, what do we do? Realizing that our mind is preoccupied with past thoughts, we can work on this. And I absolutely love today's exercise in the workbook for students because it's very practical. You just close your eyes, and the workbook recommends that you close your eyes for this practice period. There are it calls for 3 or 4 of them for no more than a minute today. So when you remember this, do this. Close your eyes and take a look at and scan your thoughts. I seem to be thinking about yesterday's dinner. I seem to be thinking about tomorrow's meeting. I seem to be thinking about a picnic I had when I was 9, or whatever it is that comes to your mind. I seem to be thinking about a picnic that I had when I was 9 with my family. But my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. That one's kind of obvious, right? Okay. I seem to be thinking about my coffee getting cold, but my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I seem to be thinking about next week, but my mind is still preoccupied with past thoughts. And just apply this idea indiscriminately. Again, the point is not to hold some ideas out as more worthy than others, as better somehow for the purposes of this practice period. It's just to apply it as indiscriminately as you possibly can. And again, I really want to emphasize, let's all take heart knowing how powerful we really are, and that we're creating our own experience. We have the power to create that and to curate that as well. We can choose love. We can choose God right now in the present moment. Now let's take a look at some of your questions and comments. And I do hope that everybody's taken the moment to say hello to Cindy, who's with me and has made an appearance and has even said hello right here on this live stream. I love that. See, special guests. Now I will be having special guests here on the show, by the way. So it won't just be me all of the time. I am going to have people, and I am going to have Cindy join me when we don't know. We have to look at the schedule for that, but she's going to join me because she has actually had massive, massive transformation in her life as a result of A Course in Miracles. So I've seen her really grow, and I'm very proud of her. I'll tell you that right now on a worldwide live stream. Yes. Yeah, she has grown and prospered so much from this. So if you would like to be featured here as a guest, this is a short live stream. They're only 15 to 20 minutes, but I'm looking at having people come on and talk about what this thought system, the course, has meant to them in their lives. So let me know, and I'll check the comment thread here. Let's see who's tuning in here. Yes, we have lots of people tuning in today. Thank you so much for joining me. Yes, so Patricia writes, the ability to stay in the present moment ensures the richness of life experience. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Awareness, exactly. Yeah, awareness is so key, isn't it? If you have a meditation practice, if you practice yoga, whatever it is that you do personally for self-care, it's so key to have some form of awareness, because if you're not aware of the complex nature of how we mess ourselves up, right? If you're not aware of your own suffering, then it's actually impossible to apply any antidote like A Course in Miracles, like meditation, like spirituality. So awareness is very key. We need to know. We need to know when we're getting in our own way, because we do it all the time. And it's really nice to know how and when and what that looks like and what that feels like, so we can take what really literally is corrective action. This is all corrective action, and we're not wrong. So it's not like getting something wrong on a test when you're in school or something, and the teacher marks it off in red, red check mark or X. Yeah, you messed up. Right? It's not like that. We've been conditioned to do things and to say things and to feel things in a certain way. And something like A Course in Miracles comes along, turns that on its head, so we can begin to work our way free of suffering, free of a lack of mental clarity, everything that we've gotten ourselves into. All right, and thank you all for tuning in here. Yes, good afternoon. Yeah, if you're joining us, it's morning here in the Mountain Time Zone in Arizona, in North America, but I know people are tuning in from all over the world. So thank you for doing that. Yes, it might be evening where you are. And if you catch this on the replay, thank you again for joining me. Ah, yes, Robert, yeah, only one continuous moment exists, and that is now. Yes, that's right. And it really actually, it's so funny the way we get in our own way, isn't it? Because it makes sense. I mean, it makes logical sense that the past is gone. But we treat it as though it's not. We treat it as though it's the living moment and we're stuck. It's very interesting. I mean, we're kind of funny, actually, if you think about it. If you get to a point, or if you're at that point now, where you're able to apply a sense of humor and laugh at ourselves, because we really have done some ridiculous things. I mean, we run around pretending that the only moment that's real doesn't exist, and we're dwelling on something that happened years ago. I mean, so all we have to do is search our minds to think of ways where we're maybe still holding a grudge against somebody for something they did to us when we were in second grade. Yeah, something like that. I mean, and it's funny when you consider it in this way. So we just need to give ourselves the space to be able to have this conversation, this internal dialogue. That's where all of the action is. Yeah. And thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, thank you all for joining in. Lots of comments today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sharing this live stream. And thank you for tuning in. This really means a lot to me to be able to offer my experience with you. And it's an honor for me. So thank you. I really, really appreciate your tuning in. If I didn't get to your questions or comments here on the stream, I'll look through them here, and I will be in touch with all of you that have commented. Thank you so much. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow noon Eastern. So it'll be a little bit after that, about 12:05 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. All right, everybody have a great rest of your day. Happy belated birthday, Cindy.